Get ready, Padres fans. It's time for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Tatis hit third, 2 outs. Fernando takes off. He's going to steal home without a play.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, and our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the final game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup for the D-backs, right-hander Ryan Nelson, and for the Padres, right-hander Matt Waldron. Hi again everyone, Sam Levitt with you here inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 1:10 at Chase Field in Arizona. A lot to do in the next 50 minutes. You'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt in just a few minutes. We'll check in with Padres radio voice Jesse Agler. Plus, we hear from a couple of the newest Padres, one guy who made his Padres debut last night, Luis Arraez, and we'll hear from a guy who's been activated as of today, Donovan Solano. He will make his Padres debut either today or in the coming days. But first, let's set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. Padres entered today with a record of 18-18 after losing 5 in a row as of Monday. The Padres have now bounced back in a big way to win 4 in a row. Padres going for a 3-game sweep here today. They've outscored the D-backs 20-2 in the first 2 games of this series. Meanwhile, Arizona 14-20 on the season. Diamondbacks have lost 7 of their last 9 games. Before we turn our full attention to the series finale here today, let's take a look back at a big day for the Padres offense last night.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Luis Arraez doubled to start the game in his very first at-bat as a Padre. Manny Machado drove him in.
Cronenworth at first, Arraez at third. 1-1 to Machado. Pitch is lined into center field and a base hit. Luis Arraez will come in to score, and Manny Machado an RBI single to give the Padres a 1-0 lead here in the first.
Padres led 2-0 after getting a run in the 4th inning. Arraez was 2 for 2 as he stepped to the plate with runners on first and third.
See him as always kind of scanning the defense, trying to see where he might be able to squeak one in. One pitch hit the other way, over the head of Suarez, down the left field line. Bogaerts comes in to score. Arraez is 3 for 3, knocks in a run, and the Padres lead it 3-0.
Knock it off, Luis Arraez.
The other early story for the Padres became Michael King. He was terrific, 6 scoreless innings, 6 hits given up, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 91 pitches. Padres still led 3-0 heading to the 7th inning, but then the Padres offense erupted. Luis Arraez started the inning with a single. He was 4 for 4. There were 2 on base for Manny.
In the first inning, the play did Arraez. Now he lines this one to deep right center. Carroll on the move, looking up, going to bounce up against the wall. Arraez is on his way. Fernando's right behind him. They're both going to score. A 2-run double for Manny, and now a 5-0 Padre lead.
Padres were far from done. Jerkson Profar was next.
Here's the 3-2. Profar swings, hits it in the air to deep left field. Gurriel is back. He's going to watch. It's going to go. 2-run homer, Jerkson Profar. His 3rd hit of the night. And now 7-0 Padres in the top of the 7th inning.
Xander Bogaerts doubled. Jackson Merrill was next.
1-1 pitch is lined into shallow left center. Carroll on the move, not going to get there, has to play it on a hop. Bogaerts rounding third, he'll come in and score. Jackson Merrill an RBI single, and an 8-0 game here in the 7th.
And then it was Ha-Sung Kim who capped an 8-run 7th inning.
Here's the pitch from Kim. That's it in the air to deep left field. Gurriel is going back, twisting and turning. He's watching. It's going to go. A 3-run homer for Ha-Sung Kim. 11-0 Padres, and now an 8-run 7th inning as Kim clears the fence for the 5th time this year.
8 runs on 7 hits, 2 home runs in the 7th inning. Final score is the Padres won a 4th consecutive game. Padres 13 and the Diamondbacks 1. And now the Padres going for a 3-game sweep in Arizona here today. Let's go to Chase Field in Phoenix and check in with Jesse Agler.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
We go to Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. We're joined by Jesse Agler as we get ready for the final game of this 3-game series. What a Padres debut yesterday, Jesse, for Luis Arraez. 4 hits, and I thought so much fun to watch in the batter's box. I think Padres fans are really going to enjoy watching this guy, Luis Arraez.
I mean, who wouldn't? You know, if you're a fan of baseball and you're a fan of guys who can actually make contact and collect base hits, and who among us is not, you're going to enjoy watching it. And last night, obviously, was a heck of an arrival for Luis Arraez. It might not be fair to expect 4 for 6 every night, but I tell you what, he's going to have a hit more often than not. You start looking at the career numbers, you got a really, I think, fair look at what kind of guy he is in that game last night. There's a reason we were kind of giddy about it going into it, and even more so coming out of it. I mean, I made the analogy to Tony during the game last night. You know how, like, when a manager pinch hits a guy and he hits what turns out to be the game-winning home run, he feels like a genius? This was like the GM's version of that. You know, you make a trade, the guy gets here, he goes 4 for 6 out of the leadoff spot, and you win the game 13-1. And I'm sure AJ felt pretty good about it last night. And now onward we go, and you hope that not necessarily you get a night like that every night, but that certainly he'll be in the middle of a lot of wins. And
I thought you guys also made a good point yesterday that with what Arraez typically does, the fact that he's now well above 300, it may be a while, if at all, we see him get back below 300 at any point this season. He is that good of a hitter, and that's where he's lived in his career, well above 300. Obviously, the Padres also making a move today. Donovan Solano called up, activated on the Major League roster. Padres optioning Eggy Rosario back to AAA El Paso. Jesse, you look at Solano's career, really good numbers. He's been a very productive, useful player. What kind of role do you anticipate Solano having on this team, especially considering now the arrival of Luis Arraez?
Yeah, I think for now, the idea is you got him on the big league roster. I think he was, top 3 in the American League in his number of pinch hits a season ago for Minnesota. So a guy, he's a veteran. He's 36 years old. He knows how to come off the bench. He understands the role. You can move him around on the infield, so we'll see, right? You got Arraez at second base today as Manny plays third and Bogart's DHs. You might see some rotation there. Solano's a guy that can certainly be a part of that. And not to get too far ahead of ourselves and not to say anything negative about Donovan Solano, but this is one of those roster things where, all right, they had to get him on the big league roster. We'll kind of see how it goes. Eggy Rosario had options, so he's down in AAA.
Right.
I certainly expect we'll see Eggy again, at some point this year. So, I don't know that it was necessarily about Eggy Rosario or about Donovan Solano as it was just the realities of their contract statuses in terms of it happening at this moment. But, yeah, look, as you said, Solano's been a productive guy really forever. Going back to his Marlin days, and he fits in very nicely with sort of what the Padres have going on the infield right now and kind of this mix and match thing. And, look, he had really one of the more productive years of his career last season in that role for Minnesota. They moved him around the infield. He did the pinch hitting, and that's certainly what I would expect here in the early goings with the Padres.
And good points on Eggy Rosario as well, who I thought did a pretty nice job in the opportunities he was given. Given in the first month of the season, and like you said, probably not the last time we see Eggy this season. Let's focus on Matt Waldron for a second. 6 innings, 4 runs given up against Cincinnati his last time out. Jesse, I thought he's done a pretty nice job here in the number 5 spot in this rotation. He's had some nice outings. It's had some rough innings. What have you made of Matt Waldron's early season so far?
Yeah, I think, there's some inconsistency there, which you just mentioned. But overall, I don't know that you could really ask much more out of your number 5 starter than what you've been getting out of Matt Waldron. And he's kind of been the bad luck guy run support-wise. That certainly continued his last time out Monday night against Cincinnati. Remember, all 4 runs that he gave up were in the first 3 innings. And you started thinking to yourself, this might be a taxing night for the bullpen. And then he was able to settle in and give you 3 more. That was critical. Padres got the leadoff home run from Jurickson Profar, and then they didn't have another hit till the 9th inning. So that's a pretty extreme example of what's been happening offensively with Waldron on the mound this year, but also a little bit representative because he's just been that guy, I think maybe with one exception this season, who has not gotten much in the way of run support. Hopefully that changes here this afternoon. And as we know, those two things are sometimes interconnected. Not always, but a lot of times they are. And when a guy's not getting run support, maybe he's out there feeling like he's got to be too fine, he's got to be too perfect, and generally that's not a good recipe out on the mound. So, look, Waldron is still finding himself in the big leagues. He only started this last summer. I think that's important to remember at this level. And, again, I think if you're the Padres out of the number 5 spot in the rotation, you're not asking too much of him. Let him go out there, do his thing, continue to sort of learn on the fly, as Michael King is, quite frankly, in his first time around as a full-time starter. But the good news is, for both of those guys, they've got really good stuff, and they've got the ability to learn from their mistakes. And, again, I guess to sum it up for me right now, can't really ask any more out of Matt Waldron than what you've gotten.
I totally agree, and the starting pitching for the Padres the last 4 games has been really, really good. What a difference a handful of days make, right, Jesse, from what you felt like Monday night, and now 4-game winning streak. Offense has woken up. Starting pitching has been a whole lot better. We'll see if the Padres can complete a 3-game sweep against the Diamondbacks here today. Jesse, we'll talk to you and Tony coming up at 1 p.m. Thanks so much.
You got it, Sam.
All right, that is Jesse Agler joining us from inside the Padres radio booth at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Again, our starting pitching matchup here today, Matt Waldron on the mound for San Diego, Ryan Nelson on the mound for the Diamondbacks. We'll have much more on that pitching matchup coming up a little bit later. We've got a lot to do between now and first pitch. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Schilt. Plus, coming up a little bit later, we hear from Luis Arraez. He spoke with media inside the clubhouse last night after a 4-hit Padre debut. First ever Padre to have 4 hits in his debut with the team. We'll also hear from Donovan Solano. He spoke with media inside the clubhouse earlier today. He is not in the starting lineup, but he is on the active roster, available off the bench here today. So we've got a lot to do as we get ready for this series finale in Arizona. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues after this on the Padres Radio Network. Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. Your water perfected. EcoWater SoCal. Your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for today's game between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres going for a 5th straight win and also a 3-game sweep in Arizona. A lot to do on our pregame coverage. We'll hear from Luis Arraez and Donovan Solano in just a little while. We'll also tell you who's hot, who's not coming up here in just a bit. Plus, we'll take you around the horn at the request of our studio coordinator, Frank Marchese. Frank would like to hear a playoff picture update this morning on May 5th. So we're going to give it to you for Frank. That's coming up as well. Let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Mike Shildt talking with the media after last night's win, the Padres beating the Diamondbacks 13-1. Here was Mike Shildt talking about the debut of Luis Arraez.
Could not have played it much better. I mean, that's fair. You know, he gets number 4 and he goes out and gets 4 knocks. Seen him in the league before, obviously, but pretty special to see him up close. Great to have him on our side. Clearly an amazing approach, and I can see why he gets the rightful moniker of the sprinkler. I mean, you're talking about just an artist with being able to put the ball in the whole field and hit it where it's pitched. Man, that was a sight to behold. What a talent.
You guys end up scoring a bunch of runs. Did it feel like with his contributions that it kind of kept you going or got you going?
I don't think there's any question. Got us going, kept us going, good at bat, clearly professional at bat. And, you know, the offense has been in a good place, and with that addition just takes it to that next level. So, yeah, I thought it fed out there at the lineup. I mean, you know, Profar again, you know, big at bats, Crony, big at bats early. You know, Manny with a big double to open it up a little bit. And, of course, Kimmy with a nice swing. Not trying to do too much, really, just trying to get the guy in and get him about the ballpark. So, a lot of good at bats. Jackson, obviously, he's a big part of the field, so positive across the board.
You take a move like this anytime, but is there a bonus to it coming at a time when you guys were scoring runs, were winning, were playing well?
I think, yeah, you take it anytime, but it is. It wasn't like we were searching for anything. We were playing well, and now we got a really good player to complement what we were doing, and it's a big compliment.
What were your impressions just talking to him before the game? In here?
Yeah, you know, I just first of all just appreciate it. He comes in, it's about winning. You know, I'm here to win. I'm here to, you know, talk to him about role, and he said, I appreciate all that, and that's great. He said, but I'm here to play baseball, and I'm here to win games, and wherever you need me, you need me. So, as advertised, you know, just a pro's pro and genuine about his desire to compete and to win baseball games.
Mike, when did he get here? What time?
He got here about 3:30.
So that's even more dramatic to kind of just fall off the plane, come in, get into his uniform for the first time and have a game like this.
It's pretty amazing, really. You know, I mean, he got in at 2:30, he got here at 3:30, and greeted his, you know, teammates greeted him. You know, got to know some people, got his uniform, and started hitting.
What's been the reaction from some of the players?
Yeah, I'm going to the clubhouse a lot. Clearly, guys are excited. I mean, you know, we've got, you know, best hitter in the league. You know how you contextualize that, but yeah, I mean, people know him, know his makeup, know what he's about, but know that he's a big piece to our club, and you know, there's a lot of excitement in that clubhouse.
What did you see of Michael tonight?
Michael was fantastic. You know, he scored in the first thanks to our man Arraez and some good baseball, and then we were able to go out and throw a shutdown inning with the help of Mr. Tatis. We can't overlook that play. Oh my goodness, what a play! A nice tag by Crony as well. But you know, Michael he pitched well, and I turned to Ruben. Actually got my attention. I think it was to Gurriel the second time through, and said it's the first ball 1 count he's had. You know, he's been in the head every guy till his 10th guy. So you know, we talk about controlling counts and giving you the best chance. So in control of the at bats, and you know, pitched in and out effectively and changed speeds. I thought he was tremendous.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after yesterday's 13-1 win for the Padres in Arizona. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game show after this one is over here today. San Diego County Toyota dealers are proud partners of the Padres and supporters of the San Diego community, and we would like to especially recognize and honor the men and women who serve our country on this Military Sunday. Thank you, and go Padres. First pitch coming up at 1:10 at Chase Field in Phoenix. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We begin with the hot category. Number of guys to look at here. We begin with Jurickson Profar. Continues to be terrific. Hits in 9 of his last 10 games, batting .487 in the last 10 games. 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and 8 RBIs. Luis Arraez in the hot category. He's hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games, batting .389 in that span. 4 hits last night. Arraez became the first player in Padres history to have 4 hits in his team debut. Jay Cronenworth is hot right now. 15 for 41 in his last 10 games. That's a .366 batting average in that span. 5 doubles, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. Cronenworth on an 8-game hitting streak heading into this one. Ketel Marte for the D-backs, one of the rare guys in this lineup, swinging it well, batting .348 with a couple of home runs, 7 doubles in his last 17 games. The not category, we take a look at a couple of Diamondbacks. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., just 2 for 33 in his last 8 games. Corbin Carroll, 5 for 43 in his last 12 games, hitting just .192 on the season so far. And that's a look at the who's hot, who's not on this Sunday as the Padres get ready for the final game of this series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And in fact, Gurriel getting a day off today. Carroll is back in the lineup for the Diamondbacks. I said 192 he's hitting. Actually, it's up to 194, but still been a very, very tough start to the season for Corbin Carroll. Now let's take you around the horn.
What's the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball? Sam Levitt takes you around the horn on the Padres Radio Network.
Now, a little bit earlier, I said that we were going to take a look at the playoff picture in the National League and American League at the request of our studio coordinator, Frank Marchese. I'd like to make it clear, I support this look at the playoff picture. Great suggestion by Frank. It's time. It's time. It's May 5th. Here we go. American League, Orioles in first place in the AL East. A game up on the Yankees. In the American League Central, how about this? The Twins have won 12 in a row. They're not in first place. The Guardians are in first place. Minnesota and Kansas City a game and a half back of Cleveland. Mariners in first place in the AL West. They have a half-game lead on the Rangers. How about this? The Oakland A's are a game and a half out of first place. The Astros are 6 games out. Who could have predicted that? In the NL East, the Phillies in first place, a game and a half up on the Braves. The Brewers in first place in the NL Central, game up on the Cubs. And in the National League West, the Dodgers in first place, 4.5 games up on the Padres right now. But if the season ended today, you know who's in the postseason? The Padres. They would have the 3rd and final wild card spot. The number 2 wild card team would be the Cubs. The number 1 wild card team would be Atlanta. In the American League, 1, 2, 3, the wild card would be Yankees, Twins, and Royals. And that's a look at the May 5th playoff picture. Just where things stand. I know, playoff picture in early May. A little early, but just so you know, kind of what's going on across Major League Baseball, who's off to a good start, who's off to not so good of a start. And right now, the Padres, again, sitting at 18-18. Nice opportunity today to move above 500. When we come back on the Padres Radio Network, we'll hear from Donovan Solano. He will make his Padres debut whenever he gets into a game, whether that's today or in the coming days. We'll also hear some of the post-game comments from last night from one of the newest Padres as well, Luis Arraez, who had 4 hits in his Padres debut. Plus, we have our keys to the game, a full look at our pitching matchup, and much, much more to come. As always, if you want to get involved on our pregame coverage, you can do that in a number of different ways. You can tweet at me at SammyLev, SammyLev. You can also DM me on Instagram, same handle there, SammyLev. If you are watching on our new video feed on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you can comment on there. May just read your comment live here on the air. We have seen increased numbers on the video streams the last few days, so it seems like people are starting to pick it up. Appreciate you watching. I now have to be very conscious of what I'm doing on camera. I have to think about what I'm wearing in the studio. I also have to now look at myself and look how I talk with my hands at all times. So there's a lot going on in my brain now during the course of these shows. That's okay if you're enjoying the video side of things. We appreciate you tuning in. First pitch coming up at 1:10 in Arizona. More after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10 between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Padres going for a 5th consecutive win and also a 3-game sweep of Arizona. We'll see if they can do it today with right-hander Matt Waldron on the mound for San Diego. Ryan Nelson, who the Padres actually have seen a lot, considering Nelson is still a relatively young right-hander. He's been in the major leagues now a few seasons, but Padres have seen him a bunch, and we'll get more into that a little bit later in our pregame coverage. We'll also hear from Donovan Solano and Luis Arraez coming up here in just a bit. First, let's update you on the injuries for the Padres and the D-backs entering this one.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at BadaFulkerson.com.
We take a look at the injuries for the Padres and the Diamondbacks today. Really nothing to update you on as far as updates this morning for the Padres. No updates there, and they're relatively healthy right now with Yu Darvish coming off the IL earlier this week. So knock on wood, Padres keep it that way. For the Diamondbacks, as we've mentioned throughout this series, they are really banged up right now, and quite frankly, on top of that, they're just not playing good baseball right now. That's why they're 14-20, a mix of both those things. A lot of guys on the IL. Geraldo Perdomo, Alec Thomas, Luis Frias, Paul Sewald, the key reliever for them. Dre Jameson, Merrill Kelly, a key starting pitcher. Kyle Nelson, a reliever. Eduardo Rodriguez, one of their key offseason acquisitions, still hasn't pitched so far this year, dealing with a shoulder strain. They're banged up right now. A lot of guys on the IL. Starters, pitchers, key relievers. That's a look at our injury report. Diamondbacks trying to stay afloat while they try to get healthy again. Donovan Solano, activated by the Padres earlier today, selected to the Major League roster. Padres making the corresponding move of sending Eggy Rosario back to AAA El Paso. After we hear from Donovan, I'll give you a little primer on his numbers during what to watch for, just so you know sort of the player he's been. Could be a really useful piece off the bench for the Padres in the coming days, weeks, and months. So during what to watch for our next segment, I'll get deeper into that. But let's hear a little bit of what Donovan Solano had to say before today's game. How does he describe his opportunity with the Padres?
A blessing. It's one word. Being together is a blessing. This opportunity, and I try to do my best in this team.
How was this process with no spring training and just seemed like you?
I mean, I know I need to get in my bats. I didn't play last year in playoff, but I need to get my bats, get my in shape, my body in shape, my glass in shape. But I take this time in the minor league like a spring training.
What kind of interest did you get from other teams? Why were the Padres ultimately the pick for you?
I mean, I choose for the Padres because they give me more. They want me they're more interesting about me, and this team want to win, and that's I want to be part of it.
It seemed like the last couple of years you were very good in the role for two different teams. And then what with this offseason, what happened?
I don't know. I have the same question, but I can't respond. I don't have anything I need to say. I just I'm surprised, but at the same time, this is what it is. This is the business, and now I'm here.
Do you think it'd be helpful to get a running start coming into a clubhouse where you know so many guys?
Yeah, I think for some reason I'm here. They know what I can do. I can bring my experience. I can bring what I know to everybody. You see a lot of talent here, a lot of experience too. Machado, Bogart, Tatis, everybody got a good experience. So I try to what I know and try to win a lot of more games we can.
That was Donovan Solano inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Solano will make his Padres debut whenever he gets into a game. Not in the lineup here today, but could certainly see him off the bench at some point in this one. And again, in our next segment during What to Watch For, I'll dive a little bit deeper into Solano's numbers, give you an idea of the kind of player he's been over the course of a really nice major league career. Let's take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at games going on right now across the major leagues. Pirates ahead of the Rockies 5-3 in Pittsburgh, 8th inning there. Tigers and the Yankees tied at 2 in the 7th inning in the Bronx. Blue Jays ahead of the Nationals 5-1 in D.C., 2nd inning there. Guardians ahead of the Angels 2-1 in Cleveland in the 8th. Mets 5, Rays 4, 6th inning in Tampa. Red Sox ahead of the Twins 3-1 in the 6th inning in Minnesota. If the Twins don't come back to win that game, their win streak would end at at 12. Mariners beating the Astros 2-0 in Houston in the 5th. Rangers and the Royals scoreless first inning in Kansas City. White Sox and the Cardinals in St. Louis tied at 1, 6th inning there. Brewers and the Cubs scoreless in the 5th at Wrigley. And games still to come today. Marlins and the A's in Oakland at 107. The A's have an opportunity to go above 500 today. They're sitting at 17-17 coming in. Braves in LA against the Dodgers at 110. Orioles and the Reds in Cincinnati at 110. And finally, later this afternoon at 4 o'clock, Giants and the Phillies in Philadelphia. And that's a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday across the major leagues. First pitch coming up at 1:10 in Arizona between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Let's give you our keys to the game.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
Key number 1, keep Matt Waldron rolling on the road. Waldron has been much better on the road this season than at home, at least so far. Small sample size. He's 1-0 with a 1.10 ERA in 3 road starts compared to an 0-3 record with a 7.98 ERA in 3 starts at home. Another thing to watch with Matt Waldron today, how does he use that knuckleball? We know that can be very, very effective for him. Opposing batters are just 7 for 43 with 16 strikeouts against that knuckleball so far this season. That's key number 1. Key number 2, don't let this Diamondbacks offense get going. This has been a key throughout this series. The D-backs have dropped 3 in a row. They've lost 7 of 9. But this is the really concerning part. They have scored 16 total runs in the last 9 games. That is less than 2 runs per game. They've been held to 1 run or less in 6 of their last 9 games. They've got guys struggling right now. They are not scoring at all. Just 1 run yesterday. It's been tough as of late for Arizona. So key number 2, don't let this offense get going. And part of that is not allowing Christian Walker to get going. Walker has reached base safely in 10 of his last 11 games. He has a 1027 OPS in that span, a double, 4 home runs. Christian Walker has traditionally been very, very good against the San Diego Padres. His 8 home runs since the start of 2022, the 3rd most among all players against the Padres behind Mookie Betts and Ryan McMahon. So don't let Christian Walker get going either. And key number 4, keep this Padres offense hot on the road. The Padres scoring 13 runs on 18 hits last night. The Padres' .286 batting average, the best mark on the road in the majors this year. They've now scored a major league leading, how about this, a major league leading nearly 6 runs per game on the road, 5.81 to be exact. This has been a really, really good offense on the road. We've seen it in this series. Keep doing it. Stay hot on the road. And that's a look at our keys to the game as we get ready for today's game between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks, with first pitch coming up at 1:10. We do have an update for you before we go to break here, and it's not a great one. The Padres have made a roster move just moments ago. Right-hander Joe Musgrove has been placed on the 15-day IL with right elbow inflammation. The Padres' corresponding move, Randy Vasquez recalled from AAA El Paso. So that's breaking news here on the pregame coverage. Joe Musgrove has been placed on the 15-day IL with what the Padres are calling right elbow inflammation. Randy Vasquez called up from AAA El Paso. That's all the information we have on it right now. We'll see what we can find out during the break and provide it for you, but obviously not very good news there. Joe Musgrove going on the IL, and we'll try to get more information on that in the next few minutes here. So, not a great update there. Padres playing the Diamondbacks, going for a 5th straight win here today. More on that if we find out more information on the situation with Joe Musgrove, plus what to watch for, and also we'll hear from Luis Arraez when we come back on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com for a free water test and consultation. Your water should be perfect.
It's me, Tony. Now at King Grody Ford, every deal is approved by me. Drive away with a Tony-approved lease on a 2024 Ford F-150 STX for just $449 per month for 36 months and $39.95 down. I'm approving deals. Call my buddy Greg at 619-944-0774 and ask for Tony's stamp of approval. King Grody Ford Carlsbad. Yes, we can.
36-month lease at $449 a month plus tax and fees and $3,995 consumer cash due at signing. Security deposit waived. 10,500 miles per year on approved credit. PIN number KD12858.
The San Diego County Bar Association offers a public service to assess your need for a lawyer. You will receive 3 references to qualified attorneys, each of whom will provide you with 30 minutes of legal consultation without charge. Visit needalawyersandiego.com to learn more.
TimberTech is the #1 premium composite decking brand. It's got the beauty of real wood without all the maintenance. To get free samples or find a local contractor, visit TimberTech.com. TimberTech. Everything wood should be.
Hey guys, it's your old pal Woodsy. I'm here to tell you about a serious water issue affecting millions of San Diegans. Toxic, forever chemicals called PFAS. But the advanced filtration systems from EcoWater SoCal can remove up to 99.9% of these harmful substances. With new federal funding to clean up PFAS, now is the time to visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338 to get a system that keeps your family's water safe and healthy. Don't wait. Protect what matters most. EcoWaterSoCal.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Free! Who doesn't love free? With MyLowe's Rewards, you get the member-only treatment that's actually worth it. Enjoy free member gifts you'll love. And once you reach Silver Key status, you can get free standard shipping. Because Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowe's.com/MyLowe's Rewards today. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Member gifts may be subject to additional terms and restrictions. See Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details. Subject to change.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 1:10 between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. We told you right before we went to break, some news coming down just moments ago. Joe Musgrove has been placed on the IL with what the Padres are officially calling right elbow inflammation. We do have a tweet here from our colleague Kevin Acey of the San Diego Union-Tribune. I'll read the tweet from Kevin. Joe Musgrove has been placed on the 15-day IL, said to be, quote, precautionary move. The issue, this is according to Kevin, triceps tendinitis. Randy Vasquez has been recalled, presumably to start Tuesday in Chicago. That would make sense. So according to Kevin Acey, the issue is triceps tendinitis. I'm sure we'll hear more from Joe at some point here soon. But again, not great news there. Joe Musgrove heading to the IL. Randy Vasquez now recalled from AAA El Paso. As we get ready for this series finale, let's tell you what to watch for.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game? Well, we see the Padres' debut of Donovan Solano. Solano, a good player, a 10-year Major League veteran, .279 career batting average. And if you look at his numbers, in Minnesota last year, 134 games, hit .282, .284 the year before, and 80 games with Cincinnati. In fact, he hit .280 in 2021. 2020, he hit .326 with the Giants. He's been a good hitter in his Major League career. Could be a very useful piece for this Padres team in a utility role, off the bench, however they want to use him. We'll see if he makes his debut today. That's what to watch for in today's game. Do we see Donovan Solano make his Padres debut? Let's hear a little bit of what Luis Arraez had to say after the game yesterday. Here was Arraez on if he was surprised about the trade from Miami to San Diego.
I was surprised, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go somewhere, and then thanks God I'm here with San Diego. And what a city. I can't wait to go there in San Diego and play there.
What a city indeed. Beautiful day here in America's finest city on this Sunday. Here was Arise on if he could feel the Padres' energy from him showing up.
A lot of energy here, so it's my first day, and then I love this team already. So I hope we continue to play like that, and then stay together, man. We are family, and then I just want to be here and then do my little things.
Finally, here was Arise on what it feels like to go from a team in Miami that is seemingly selling off to a team that is trying to contend.
It's changed a lot. I lose a lot in Miami, and I miss my ex-teammates and the coach staff there. Everybody know that. But thanks God I'm here right now, and now I'm in the winning team. So I know it's hard when you go to the stadium and play and then lose the game. So thanks God to change my life right now, and then I'm here to prepare my mind and then go there and win a lot of games.
Arise with 4 hits in his Padres debut yesterday. We'll see what he does for an encore here today. Let's dive into our pitching matchup between Ryan Nelson and Matt Waldron.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Matt Waldron comes in 0-1, a 4.35 ERA so far this season in 6 starts, 31 innings, coming off an outing against Cincinnati on Monday where he went 6 innings, 4 earned runs given up, 6 hits allowed. He'll make his second career start against the Diamondbacks, made one last season in August, gave up 5 earned runs in that start. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Diamondbacks, right-hander Ryan Nelson, 1-2, a 4.60 ERA in 4 starts so far this season. Nelson activated off the IL to make his 5th start of the season here today. Missed 2 weeks after being hit on the right elbow by a line drive against San Francisco on April 18th. Nelson had a rough first outing of the season, but since then a 2.77 ERA in his last 3 starts. He's somebody that's seen the Padres a lot in his early major league career already. 5 starts against him with a 6.04 ERA, 17 earned runs given up in 25-plus innings. Keep an eye on Xander Bogaerts, 3 for 7 last year against Nelson with a couple of home runs against him. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. When we come back, Jesse and Tony have the starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our postgame show. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network.